You're welcome back to Valmich Feet. Here we learn tips, tricks, and techniques of making beautiful and, of course, amazing outfits. So, guys, today I'll be showing you how to make this very beautiful gown that I showed you from the beginning. I'll be making use of all these tools. So, we'll be doing paper drafting to make this beautiful dress. As you can see, this is a dress with godet at both hip side, and I must tell you, this dress is extremely dartless. Like, there's absolutely no dart on this dress, and it still looks very beautiful and well fitted on my client. So guys, I'm here to show you how to make this very beautiful dress, and trust me, it's very easy to make, being that it has no dart and it's extremely less time wasting. In about a day you should be able to make this beautiful dress. So guys, we're going to start with drafting out the pattern for this dress, and this paper is about 40 inches long. Measuring it out as you can see, but the full length of this dress that we'll be making is about 62 inches, so that means this paper will not be enough for me to measure out the full length. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what to do next. So first, I'm going to take my shoulder to waistline, which is 16 inches, then I'll count 4 inches downwards, and that's where the godet with the gathers will be starting from. You can decide to do 4.5 inches if you want it to come down a little before the godet. After that, I'll take the shoulder to hip line, which is 24 inches, and also mark down 27 inches. Now I'm marking shoulder to bust point, and here shoulder to chest line. Then come over here, take same measurements all over. Don't forget, we have not taken our full gown length. That's because this paper is not long enough to take our full length. So guys, after taking down all these measurements, I'm going to rule them out. So now guys, this is the shoulder to chest line, here is the shoulder to bust point, that is the shoulder to the nipple, this is the shoulder to waistline, then 4 inches downwards to where the gather starts from. Here is the shoulder to the beginning of the hip line, and the shoulder to the end of the hip line. All here we're going to take the hip line measurement down to we get to the full length of the dress. Now I'm going to take my shoulder measurement, and I'm going to take my bust measurement here. I'm going to take my round waist measurement here. This dress does not have under bust measurement, so here I'm going to take my round hips measurement, and I'll do the same thing on this 27 inches, that is the shoulder to the end of the hip line. Now that we have done that, before we connect the points together, we're going to take our shoulder slope, which is 1 inch downwards from the shoulder line. So I'll mark that down, and the next thing I'm going to do is to take my neckline measurement, and I'm taking 3.5 inches. So after sewing, it will be 4 inches, and downwards I'm taking 4.5 inches. After sewing, it will be 5 inches. Now I'm going to connect these points together to give me sort of a round neckline. Yeah, that part is done. Now we're going to connect the neckline to the shoulder slope, so you can see how it's going. Now we're going to create the armhole, but before that I'm going to take the shoulder measurement on my chest line, which is 8 inches because it is shoulder divided by 2, and then make a straight rule downwards. So this is to give me an accurate measurement. So here I'll take the midpoint between this line from the shoulder slope, and then I'll go in by half an inch. After that, go ahead to connect from the shoulder slope to that ½ inch point, and then into the chest line. So here this armhole has been formed, and this is the front pattern we are creating here. Now I'm going to connect all the points that I made earlier. I'll do it all the way to the end of this paper, which has our round hip measurement. So guys, now that we have marked all the points down, please don't forget we still do not have our full gown length here. All right, I hope that is understood. So let's go back to this point where we have the line where the gathers starts from. Like I said, you can do 4.5 inches just to make the gathers come down a little towards the hip side. I'm going to rule that out, but I'll be making use of 4 inches. So this is what we have right now. And if I measure the space in between this line, I would have 3.5 inches left. But if I measure from the first line, I would have 4 inches in between. Well, I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to explain here, and if you don't, please ask your question in the comment section. Now we're going to cut this first piece out before we create our full gown length. Here the first piece is out and this is what it looks like. This is basically like the shoulder to hmm, let me say gown length a little below the knee line. So now I'm going to fuse these two papers together, like I'm going to gum these two papers together so that I can have my full gown length. If not, you're going to make a very big mistake. So I'm putting my gum and I'm going to place the first piece on top it so that I can have a long length to cut out. Well, actually you can do freehands on this. Just take this first piece and place on your fabric, pin it down and mark your hip line measurement all the way to your actual length. So this is my actual full gown length and I'm marking 62 inches and 63 inches precisely, marking 63 inches, which is 1 inch for my hemming. So I'm going to do the same thing on this point just to have an accurate measurement. And after doing all that, I'm going to rule a straight line downwards to meet my actual full length. After doing that, I'm going to cut off the excess paper away, and here we'll have our full gown length measured out. It is drafted and it is cut out, as you can see, and this will lead us to creating that beautiful design that made you rush into my channel, because you know I do not gatekeep any explanation. So from this full gown length, I'm going to mark 2 inches inwards. I'll do the same thing on the lower part of the dress, and you know this line I'm rolling out actually starts from this 4 inches point after the waistline. So to have a well defined curve, I'm going to mark on this hip line 5 to 5.5 inches. You can do 5 inches, you can do 5.5 inches, that's totally fine. Then I'm going to mark it all the way down to where I have the 2 inches point on the lower part of this dress. So now I'm going to make the curve starting from the 4 inches point, not the 4.5 inches. I'll roll it into the 5 inches on the hip line. So from that part, I'm going to use my free hand to just make a very fine curve line into my hip line. So guys, you can see exactly what I'm trying to do here, just trying to make a very fine curved line. So this piece is the front piece and I'm going to use it to draft out my back piece. So guys, I have another paper set out for my back piece, as you can see, and I'm going to mark out my zipper allowance. I'm using 2 inches for my zipper allowance, and I'm going to add extra 1 inch for my shoulder. But before I move further, I'll first pin down the front piece to the other paper to help me trace this out with ease. So I am pinning this down first at the zipper area because I want to contour the zipper line and also trace out the neckline for the back pattern. So I'll rule out the waistline for the back pattern so it will be easy for me to make my contouring. Just rule out a little line, or you can rule it fully, and then I'm going to rule this space. This is my 2 inches space for the zipper, and also do for the neckline because I want to trace out my neckline for the back pattern. I will come down by 2 inches for my back pattern. So after sewing, I would have 2.5 inches. You can see how I ruled it out. The 1 inch I left for the back pattern, that is the shoulder line for the back pattern, will serve as my sewing allowance for my back and for my front pattern, because you don't want the shoulder line to be going backwards, making you feel uncomfortable around your neckline. After that, I'm going to trace out my armhole and then the other parts of the body. But before I do that, I'm going to contour the zip line like I have been saying before. You see what I did here? Because I did not rule the line out totally, I forgot to take the measurement. So for the contouring, I went in by 1/2 inch. That is why I ruled out the second line. And on my hip line, that is the start of the hip line, I'm going to rule this into the start of the hip line, as you can see right here. So guys, I have contoured the zipper allowance. That contouring is for a better fit on your center back. This is not going to be giving you any poking on your zipper or on your center back. On the neckline, you come down by about 2 inches. That is where the contouring starts from and ends on the start of your hip line. So now it's time for us to trace out the armhole. For the back, I'm going to come out by say 1/4 inch and then roll this out. It's basically like tracing the front pattern out, but on the armhole I'll be going out by 1/4 inch and then trace the other part same way. So I'm cutting out the neckline for the back because we came down by 2 inches, so after sewing it will be 2.5 inches for the back neckline. Here I'm going to trace out my 1 inch line that I made for the back pattern. Like I said earlier, this 1 inch is going to serve as my sewing allowance for my back pattern and also for my front pattern, because I will not be adding any shoulder line sewing allowance for my front pattern. I'm talking about on my main fabric. So the one I did for the back pattern for this paper, I would be using it for my back main fabric, and that will be our sewing allowance for our shoulder line. So you can see the back pattern is not full on the length. I'll be doing same thing I did for the front. I'll be adding extra paper to the back pattern to enable me have my full gown length for my back pattern. So guys, I've added extra paper to the back and I'm just going to trace out the back using the front pattern. That's easy. So now that I have made the design, I've traced out the design for the front, I'm going to just use it to cut out the back, and that's all for creating the design. Trust me, it's very easy to make. So guys, we're done with the paper drafting for this dress, and on my main fabric I'll be adding my side seam allowance and the sewing allowance for this part of the dress. I already have my seam allowance for the lower part, so that would not be needed, and also have my seam allowance for my zipper area. So here's the cutout piece from this drafting, and I'll be placing this directly on my main fabric to make out the design. You can actually do slash and spread using this very cutout piece, but if you do not understand slash and spread, you can do it the other way, freehand. Just put it on your main fabric, add enough allowance to give you the much gathers that you want, and then you cut it out. So I'm just showing you guys how it looks like on the back side. That is the back pattern alone, as you can see. So this is how it looks like for the both of them. Guys, I will not be using slash and spread method for this cutout piece because that's a whole topic on its own, and that will be for another day. So I'll go ahead to use free hands, which is actually the easiest way out, because I want to make it very simple for you guys. That is why I'll be using free hands. Don't worry, I'll show you exactly how I'm going to use my free hands to cut out this piece to enable me achieve that much gathers you saw on the finished dress. So guys, I hope this tutorial was interesting to you and you were able to learn how to draft out this beautiful dress. Please, if you find this tutorial helpful, give this video a thumbs up and drop your comments in the comment section if you have any. On my next tutorial, I'll be teaching you guys how to cut this piece out on your main fabric and how to join all these pieces together to look beautiful and neat like this, starting from how to cut out these gathers with your free hands, that is using free hands method. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial and I hope to see you all in our next tutorial. So for now, I say bye.